And the happy days are long gone. The crew of the hit TV show want their royalties. 40 years after the hit series hit the airwaves, Happy Days merchandise is still flying off the shelves. Some of the cast are decidedly not happy. Bobby Harlow's after the break. So members of the cast of the old TV show Happy Days are finding it hard to smile. They are taking the owner of the show, CBS, to court nearly 40 years after the first programme went to air. They say they've been cheated out of tens of millions of dollars from the sales of the show's merchandise. Our very own Poppy Harlow, who probably wasn't, well, she wasn't alive when the show first started, went to meet the actors.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
This is the Happy Days, known and beloved worldwide.
Ready to race to you.
This is Happy Days Today. The show's cast on slot machines. Hotsy, Ralph, Joni, even the Cunninghams.
Somebody came up to me and said, "You must be cleaning up on those casinos." I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Yes, if you get 5 Marions, you hit the jackpot."
The slots represent what the actors say is a merchandising bonanza that began 37 years ago when the show first hit the airwaves. But those same actors also say they haven't been paid for the continued use of their images as their contracts require. And now they're preparing to sue CBS, which owns the show.
Representing to the public the best of what America has to offer. You know, the opportunities, the friendships, the warmth. Unfortunately, Happy Days now also represents the worst of America, of what major companies are trying to get from it.
In exclusive interviews, we spoke with 4 members of the cast: Anson Williams, Don Most, Marion Ross, and Aaron Moran, at a 1950s-style cafe in Los Angeles.
Hiya, Pops.
The estate of Tom Bosley, who died last October, is also part of the lawsuit. And for these actors, who are like family,
You look great.
it was a very emotional reunion.
This is the best part. This is the best part.
The issue, they argue, is simple. They want to be paid for the use of their images.
There's something kind of skewed in that the people who really had nothing to do with making this show, they're exploiting and making money on it by using our face, our pictures, and all that.
After hearing about the Happy Days slots, they began asking questions about where all the money went.
Happy Days has turned into Unhappy Days.
John Pfeiffer is the actor's attorney in the suit against CBS.
They made a promise to pay. They broke their promise. That's the breach of contract. Number 2, they made a promise to pay. They purposely didn't pay. They broke their promise. The fraud.
Under their contracts, the actors were to be paid 5% from the net proceeds of merchandising if their sole image were used, and 2.5% if they were in a group. The studio has the right to deduct 50% off the top as a handling fee.
We have here iconic actors. I mean, I grew up watching these people, and yet they got stiffed.
You haven't seen a dime from this.
The actors argue the studio knew it owed them money because in 1999, after Moran asked, the studio, which was then Paramount, paid her $692 for merchandising. This document also shows she was previously paid more than $8,000, which she claims she never received.
Bull. No, I didn't. No, I did not.
The merchandising proceeds are especially personal for Moran, who lost her California home to foreclosure last year. In documents provided to the actors, CBS says it only owes them between $8,500 and $9,000 each. And most of that's from the slot machines. But the actors argue they're owed millions. CBS sent us a statement saying, "We agree that funds are owed to the actors and have been working with them for quite some time to resolve the issue." Is it possible that CBS Paramount may have just made a mistake?
Well, I'd like to answer that question.
That's funny.
I would like to answer that question in business. Yeah. Let's see. Made a mistake for 37 years?
A generation after the show ended, these actors all say this case is bigger than Happy Days and will set a precedent for the industry. People watching may be asking, you know, Happy Days started 37 years ago. Why are they just bringing this suit now?
Well, because when we started the show, we were just actors. You know, we weren't business people.
Yeah.
And we assume, oh, well, they send you the checks and that's it. Didn't think about it.
Are you fighting for more than money?
Principle.
I think fairness and
principle.
Can you think of all the different shows that must be having the same
There you go.
argument about this? Maybe it's for the future that we're doing this.
Now, Richard, the lawsuit against CBS was filed this week in Los Angeles County Superior Court, and the actors are going to be asking for a specific breakdown of how much each licensee that deals with Happy Days earned from sales, and also, of course, how much CBS took in. And when you look at those sales, Richard, they are continuing at a pretty fast clip. CBS recently announced licensing deals with clothing manufacturers across Europe, and here in the U.S., there are even plans in the works for a lottery game with those Happy Days characters. And I think, Richard, everyone out there is wondering about the Fonz, played by Henry Winkler, and Ron Howard, the Academy Award-winning director who played Richie Cunningham. Neither of them is part of this suit. Richard?
So this is a case over quantum of damages rather than liability to pay. So other cases where this has happened before, Poppy?
You know, there are not cases that deal with this iconic of a show. You're talking about Happy Days that ran from 1974 to 1984, and then many more years of reruns that are really still going on. So there have been merchandising cases in the past, but there have not been cases with a show like this that go back 37 years when this show first hit the airwaves. So it's really going to be interesting, I think, Richard, to see how this plays out. And as you saw in their statement, CBS is not disputing whether or not the company owes the actors money. They're disputing how much. So this, I think, either way, if it goes to court, if it's settled, is going to be precedent-setting. And then you wonder what other actors, shows may come out of the woodwork here.
You don't remember Happy Days when it first came out?
See, that is not true. I was 2 years old when it was still running.
Oh, you wound me.
There you go.
You wound me. Poppy Harlow, who joining us, said many thanks indeed. Oh, she said that with real delight. You could just see the look as the knife went in.